Hello, it's me, it's Nate, it's Voxel Star. This is a completely unscripted video where I'm just going to talk about how I feel about Disgaea 6 because now I've played the demo. I've not played the full game, but I've played the demo for an hour. And you might be thinking that's not a lot of time. It's not really, but I wanted to share my thoughts on that hour. Now, I did a stream of it, which you can go see until it goes down, and I only had an hour to actually do that stream at the time. I was extremely short on time on that day, so I thought, let's just have a quick look, and maybe we'll go back to it. Maybe we'll have another look later. But I played it, and I was disappointed. Now, I know that this channel is primarily built on my Disgaea videos. They're the ones that a lot of you guys like. They're the ones that a lot of you found the channel for. So, it's expected that I'm going to play the heck out of Disgaea 6. But to be honest, there's a few problems with it. And I don't want to be diving deep into a game that I'm not enjoying. Now, I'll get to the problems, I'll get to my reasoning, but that's not to say I won't do Disgaea 6, it's not to say I won't play it. But as it stands, as it is at the moment, it's a bit of a mess. So, okay, now let's actually talk about what I'm on about. Disgaea 6 is horribly optimized. That was my first thought. You load it up, it's on Nintendo Switch, and one of the first things I actually say, you can see it on the stream, is, why is the frame rate so bad?
This is the place, right?
What's with the low frame rate? That's weird. Here we go, we got Zed, he's a zombie.
Yep, no doubt about it. I can smell it in the air. This place reeks of concentrated magic power.
Like, you guys probably can't see it, because, like, the stream probably hinders it, but the frame rate's low on just the, like, the UI, which is really bizarre. Now, this isn't even... I said this before we entered the actual gameplay. I noticed the frame rate was extremely bad on the cutscenes. You know, when it's basically just like JPEGs and text boxes? The frame rate was awful at that point. I thought there was something wrong with the game. So, yeah, there was that. And then when you actually get into the game, when you get into controlling the characters, when you get to moving people around the board, it's still an awful frame rate, perhaps even worse. And I need to be able to do things quickly. On Disgaea 5, you can effectively... I've got muscle memory in Disgaea 5 to speedrun some of those levels, I don't need to think about what I'm pressing on the menus. Disgaea 6, the menus run so slowly that inputs get eaten sometimes. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it means you press a button, and because the game is still processing something, it doesn't recognize that you've pressed the button. That's how bad the frame rate was, that's how bad the lag was. It's not optimized, not at all. And I think that comes down to a mixture. I think it's partly because they have put something that's should be on a more powerful console on the Switch, and I think it's because they are moving to 3D models rather than the 2D sprites, and I think it's because it's cheaply made. I think those are the three contributing factors. Now, that third one, I don't know for sure. I don't have any evidence on that. I don't know how much money got poured into this. It can't be, it's not going to be AAA money anyway, is it? But it doesn't seem like enough attention to detail was put in. It doesn't seem like there was care and polish put on this, because it's horribly optimized. Now, the second thing, the 3D models, that I can move on to that. Another thing that I spoke about on the previous video I did on Disgaea 6, the one where I had a look at the trailer, I spoke about the 3D models and the pluses and the benefits and the drawbacks from having those 3D models. and my feelings are exactly the same. Now I've seen it in game, those animations during the skills, they lack the punch that the skills did in the older games. They lack that cartoony aspect that that allowed them to do crazy stuff because it was 2D animation. Now I know it was on a 3D plane, but the limitations that they had actually made those attacks more creative, and they made them hit harder. I spoke in that previous video about how basically sometimes when you have less frames of animation, so when you're throwing a punch, if you have 3 frames in that punch, you can hold on those first 2, those 2 frames, wait, and then cut to that 3rd frame where the punch has landed. And it provides this impact that isn't there with those 3D models. The skills don't feel impactful. They don't feel over the top. And Disgaea, that's what it goes for. It goes for that over the top feeling. Now, I'm going to get on to something else to do with that over the top feeling in a moment, but just to finish on the switch from 2D to 3D, the fact that they can't have many models on the screen now without the game just chugging and reducing to a halt almost is so strange to me, because in Disgaea 5, one of the unique selling points of the game was that now they could have over 100 characters on the screen at once because they had enough processing power. They were going in the direction where they could do crazier stuff and bigger battles because, hey look, we're on the PS4 now. Now I'm aware that Disgaea 6 is on the PS4 in Japan, and I'm probably going to go take a look at some footage of that, because I think if this isn't going to be optimized well, it might just need more power being pumped into it, Unfortunately, here in the West, we aren't getting a PS4 or a PS5 version. I think that, as far as I know, NIS is trying to move away from PlayStation for various reasons. But I'm afraid that at the way it currently stands, I wasn't enjoying the game because of how badly optimized it was. Now, the 3D models, they look good. Okay, as models, as just basic models, they look kind of low polygon, but they, if that's even something we look at now, polygon count, they look low res, I should say, but they do look good. They look cute. They look nicely designed, and they've gone for a style which does suit Disgaea. They're well made, but between the animation problem and the optimization problem, it wasn't worth it. The 2D sprites have a charm to them that really, I guess I'm discovering, is a big part of the series for me. Okay, now the other thing that I wasn't a fan of, and this isn't unique to Disgaea 6, but Disgaea 6 has terrible writing, and I know I only played the first chapter and a bit, but it's so bland. It's so full of cliche. It's so full of shonen archetypes, but it's not self-aware enough, right? Because I don't want to be hypocritical here. One of my favorite animes, in fact, my favorite anime is Gurren Lagann, right? And that is, it makes itself out to be a typical shonen mecha series, but it's self-aware. It knows what it is, and it uses that to subvert your expectation of what's going to come. Disgaea is not doing that. And I know this because it's been a slow decline in the quality of the writing and the quality of the dialogue all the way through the series. Now, I want to say maybe I've just grown up and I'm a bit more cynical, or my standards of writing in games have gone up. That's potentially true. I still find Disgaea 1 funny. I still find Disgaea 1 it winks at you. It knows what it is. It knows that it's being silly. Disgaea 5 did not. Disgaea 5 was carelessly written. There was nothing surprising in the writing. All the dialogue was so straightforward and basic and cliche. And yeah, Disgaea 6 has just picked that right back up, and it's doing it again. I don't want to be completely unfair to the whole series. I liked the characters in Disgaea 4. You know, Disgaea 2 had problems as well, but I did like the characters in that one. But, you know, especially 3 and 5 was just, there was nothing there writing-wise. So I think over the years I've recognized that, and, you know, I don't really play these games for the story, even though the first one had a very well crafted one, because it was crafting a world at the same time. In a way, it was made as a single entity instead of now a sequel in a line of games that's just ongoing. I think that's the point. I think there was passion, there was reason to make that game, where they wanted to make something cool, they wanted to make something special, and they did. But it's kind of run of the mill at this point. It's expected, and I don't want to just play this game because I'm expected to if it's not very good. But there were a couple of things I was interested in the game. And this is why Disgaea 5 is so good, despite the fact I can't stand any of the characters or the writing. It's because Disgaea 5 is unique. It has gameplay that is more about breaking the game itself. It's about figuring out the systems, and there's tons of systems, and bending them to your own will. And that's what I like about Disgaea now. You got to break the game to try and get those high levels. Disgaea 6 has some interesting changes, ones that I would quite like to see where they go and how it affects that state of gameplay, that unique take on an RPG where it's, you know, you have this menu full of systems and you have to get to those end places by cheating the system, even though the system isn't, you know, it can't be cheated. It knows they're there to be broken. It's still within that same box, but you feel like you're outside of the box. So there are changes in Disgaea 6 which have really like, oh wow, that's different. They've changed the team attack system, I noticed. They've changed how, this is the biggest one, they've changed how experience is given to your characters. Before, whoever last hitted the monster when it died, the enemy when it died, they got all the experience. Now, the experience is just shared out across every party member that was involved. And that is interesting to me, that they would do that. That changes a lot about the post-game, about how you get to that top level. They've changed some quality of life stuff. I noticed you don't have to go to the medic anymore to heal after a battle. You still get the prizes for healing, but you don't have to go and do it yourself. It just does it automatically. I know there are a few other systems I saw in there that I don't know what they do yet, because it was just sort of the introduction, which I would be interested to know what they are. It's, you know, I'm a fan. I like that they keep introducing new systems every game for you to try and break. I did notice that they upped all the numbers. Okay, that sounds weird, but what they've done essentially is, before you would start at level 1 and you could beat the game with a few characters at like level 70 or 80, but now I noticed by like the second map of the game, by the end of the second map of the game, I had level 30 somethings in my party, and I noticed that my stats were in the thousands, like the tens of thousands already. And that's really weird to me. Like, I was doing millions of damage on like already, and it's like, that's very weird, because I can't see what purpose that serves other than make the numbers bigger, because it's Disgaea, right? So the numbers got to be bigger, you know, bigger and better. That's what they always do. I mean, straight away, the intro to the game is the strongest and greatest overlord that can ever be has started killing everyone, right? I guess that's that juvenile style that Disgaea loves, which, you know, it's not a bad thing all the time. But when you start changing the numbers just to make bigger number, I worry about the balance, and I worry about why. I worry about, like, what, you know, when you make decisions when you're making a video game, you do it for a reason. You do it to make the game better. What does bigger numbers do for the game? Other than for a marketing thing of, look, you can do billions and billions and trillions of damage now. It doesn't change anything, the numbers have just gone up. And I don't like the implications of that. It's strange. If I'm wrong, and there is a reason why they have done that, then I would like to know what it is. But to me, it shouts at just a soullessness that this whole game is giving me a vibe of. Now, I've talked very passionately about Disgaea 6 all the way through this rambling video, but I genuinely want to keep playing. I genuinely want to love this game, because the first Disgaea game was, I guess, an introduction to anime stylings, Japanese games, an RPG that had a sense of atmosphere to it, something that was different. It was outside the box. And as the games have gone on, it's progressively, or I should say recessively, become more and more inside of the box. And now it's just made with a level of carelessness that I don't really care for. So I don't really know where to go from here regarding Disgaea 6. I don't think personally I will be buying the game, because there's so many great games to play and so many great games to do videos on. And I respect that a lot of people like my Disgaea videos. And, you know, if you'd rather not stick around for stuff that isn't Disgaea related, you know, that's cool. I get it. Like, I'll understand, because that's what got me the subscribers that I've got. But I think I'll leave Disgaea 6 for now. I'm willing to have another go if we eventually do get a PlayStation version, just to see if they've patched it, to see if they've improved the optimization, the frame rate, to see where it is in the future. I'd like to like the game, but I can't right now. I think there's so many great games to play, and this one is competing with them, and it's not winning. So I don't want to go out on this video on a bummer. You know, like I said, there's a lot of great games to play, and I'm streaming a lot more now, and I'm gonna make videos on other games, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy what videos I've done in the past. I can't always do loads. I know there's sometimes gaps between videos because, you know, I work a full-time job between doing these videos, and, you know, I have family, I have friends, all that stuff. And stuff happens, but when I can get videos out, when I can stream, I enjoy doing it, and I just want to say thank you for everyone that does watch my videos, does watch the ones that aren't about Disgaea, and the ones that I do about, you know, games that I'm passionate about. But you know what? Thank you for those who watch the ones about Disgaea too, because I appreciate how many of you guys have come around and looked at my guides and enjoyed my content and left really nice comments. And yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with Disgaea 6, and hope you guys check out videos coming up from now. So thank you for listening to my big ramble, and I'll catch you on the next one. And check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/voxelstar. See you there.